Do your kids play sports and you want to make sure that your insurance plan covers you really well for any kind of injuries that they may have? Then this video is for you. Oh, to be young again. If your kids are anything like my kids, they just don't ever stop moving. So we have to make sure that their insurance plan covers them really well for the unexpected things, even the small little things like the broken arms and stuff. So here are the things that you have to look for in your kids' health insurance plan. So number one is access. So you want to make sure that you have access to your child's pediatrician and also to the urgent care that's close to you so that you can take them after hours, and also to the children's hospital that you prefer, or make sure that at least you have access to more than one children's hospital. So some of the state-sponsored and funded CHIP programs, like for example, Florida Healthy Kids, those types of plans do not, they kind of limit access. So they may give you access to some pediatricians, but not all the pediatricians. And so you have to make sure that if you're on one of those plans, that the pediatrician that you want is on the list, and also the doctors and that the hospitals and the specialists that you may want are on that list. If not, a sure way to go is going the PPO way, having a preferred provider organization and access to one of those networks where typically the best doctors and hospitals are all in network for those plans. Number two, you want to make sure that the things that your kids are going to most often use the plan for are covered on your plan, and you want to know what that coverage looks like. So for example, a child that is born, a newborn baby that's born 0 to, let's say, 2 years old, you're going to want to make sure that the plan that you have the child on has really good immunization coverage, because there are tons of immunizations that kids get that are on the schedule of the recommended ones to get, and you want to make sure that your plan covers those, or you want to make sure at least if they don't cover them completely where they're free, that you want to know what the coverage is. So for example, some plans will pay a certain dollar amount toward the immunizations, and immunizations can range. There's also alternatives that you can get immunizations for free at health centers and things like that. Those are all things to consider. Also the annual physical. So a child's every year, if they don't get sick, they'll go to their annual physical or their well checkup. And typically that's before school starts. And so you want to make sure that those are covered, and also, and if it's not totally covered, then what is the coverage that you're going to get? And do you have access to doctors and hospitals, or do you have to go maybe to someone that they tell you to? Number three is really, 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 really good accident and injury coverage. Why is this so important? Well, as a health insurance agent, over the past few years, I see the accident claims pay out the most over anything else, especially with families that have school-age kids that play sports. Why? There's constantly broken arms, a twisted ankle, a dislocated knee and all that. And so you really want to make sure that if you're on a plan like the Marketplace plan or any other kind of plan, and you have a high deductible, that you don't have to pay out of pocket until you meet the entire deductible before the insurance kicks in for something simple as an accident or injury. And accidents and injuries, like that category, is actually a lot bigger than most people think. So for example, bee stings, if you get a weird bug bite or bee sting, that's included in an accident and injury. That's something where if your child has an adverse allergic reaction to a bee sting, you're going to want to rush them to the emergency room. At least I would. Or food poisoning. That's another one that people don't think about. If your child gets food poisoning, gets really, really sick, you want to be able to take them to that pediatric ER. And so you want to make sure that the coverage that you have is really good for accidents and injuries, so that you don't have to pay out of pocket so much before the insurance kicks in. So if you take anything away from this video, take away that going to the healthcare marketplace is not the only place to be able to get good insurance for your kids that covers really well for accidents and injuries, and will take care of all their sports related kind of issues, okay? One of the things that I've been doing really well with children, with families with children that are school age and that play sports, are underwritten health coverage. Why? Kids are typically healthy, so they can qualify for the plans. Typically, those kids also don't need pregnancy coverage. They don't need mental health or psychiatrist coverage. They don't need drug and alcohol rehab coverage. They just need really good coverage with not a high deductible, and they need good coverage that'll cover them in the event that something happens that's most likely to happen to them, to that pool of population. And so if you want more information about this, reach out to me at alexandracontos.com. I'm happy to show you how to customize a plan and tailor it to your specific needs, nothing more, nothing less. And if you found this video helpful, please tag a friend that might also find it helpful, and comment, share, and like.